Hi guys, I'm Sarah Butler and you're watching Cowgirls Live. Just so you know, if this is your first time watching the show, we literally talk about everything that has to do with horses, saddles, trailers, trucks, my dog, anything on the farm, hunting, fishing. So just so you know, and you can be prepared for anything that has to do with any of those categories. So today, I made a spur of the moment decision that I was going to get some ducklings. And the reason I decided that is because one of my friends, her name's Gracie, she's actually been on the show before. She's a member of the FFA. She put on her Snapchat a memory from last year. If you guys have Snapchat, you'll notice that like every now and again your memories will come up and it'll be like, oh, memory from 1 year ago today, this happened. Well, she had a picture of her little ducks on her Snapchat story and I was like, oh my gosh, those are so cute, you should get some more. And she was like, oh, my mom's not letting me get ducklings, so I can't get them this year. And I was like, okay, well, I want to get some ducks then. So today I decided, I was like, I'm gonna get some ducks, I'm going to set up this place in my barn. I cleaned out this room that had like a bunch of random horse stuff in it. It was just like unorganized. I organized it, made some space, turned the heater on so it could warm up. And I went to Tractor Supply with my friend Gracie and Cameron. And I got there and they had no ducks and no little chicks. So I was like, oh no. So anyway, I ended up like buying the stuff that I needed for the ducklings or chicks. They all need like the same thing. They get the same food. They drink and eat the same way out of the same like container thing. So I ended up just getting on the stuff I needed for that. And of course they didn't have any. And my friend had even looked on the website for Tractor Supply and it said, come see our chicks in the store today. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And we got there and they weren't there. So today's tip is always call ahead if you want to go to the store and you're like, even if you think that they're going to have something, just always make sure, like call them and be like, hey, do you have this? Because they might not actually have it. Especially things that are like only in certain times of the year. So like they only have chicks or ducklings in the spring. It's not even spring yet, but they usually get them in this time of year. Like they're usually there this time of year because she had the ducklings last year on this day from Tractor Supply, but they weren't there today. By the way, guys, ask me questions throughout the whole video because I want to answer them. So RWAG says, good evening, folks. Where's Annie, Sarah? Well, Annie has found a new spot in my room where she likes to hide. Oh, wait, actually, she's not in it. Usually she hides behind my door. That's been her new spot lately, behind the door, but now she's actually just on the floor. Annie, come on, you want to say hi? Come on, get on my bed. Get on the bed so you can say hi to everyone. Get up, get up. There she is, guys. She's on my bed. And she's plopping down again. She's tired again. David Williams says, hi, Sarah. And Aza K says, you guys have chickens and ducks at your place, ? Well, no, we don't, because today I just decided to get some, and they didn't have them. So, I don't have any ducks now. So, now we're going to talk about sponsors. And I'm going to do my little screen share with y'all so we can see the sponsors' pages. So if you all have Facebook, you go to Facebook, you can type in Frederick County, or you can go to their, go to up here and just type in the URL, whatever you choose to do. So this is one of my sponsors. You can scroll on down here. And what is this? Quickset single cylinder deadbolt. So it appears here that running a special, get a Quickset deadbolt installed for $75 plus $25 service fee. $100 total, no hidden fees. Interesting. So can get that done. Let's see here. New Bill's Auto Body, giving you personalized care. So they have everything on here about local businesses and all the deals that they have. They've got tons of videos, pictures, basically of anything that goes on in Frederick County. So definitely go to their Facebook page or their website, which I believe is frederickcounty.com, something like that. You know what I mean? They honestly probably have the URL on here. And I've typed it in before for you guys. And my other sponsor is Christiana Photography. So we're going to go here, Christiana Marie Photography, actually. So this is one of my good friends. I've known her for a long time. And she is a great photographer. Takes pictures of horses, babies, as you can see, and pretty much everything. So she takes amazing pictures. So hit her up for some good pictures. And my other sponsor is Mid-Atlantic TV. So be sure and follow them on YouTube. And just a heads up here, let me go. Well, actually, I'll go in and type it in for you guys right now. So Steve from Little Treasury is going to be on Craig's channel tomorrow at 5 p.m. So definitely check that out. But anyway, his website is littletreasury.com. So he has watches here from what I'm seeing. I don't know a ton about him, but definitely check out this website. He's got rings, jewelry, watches, engagement rings. Let's look at engagement rings, guys. Wow, look at these. These look great. These look super cool. All right, even though I'm not about to get married, I like looking at engagement rings. Maybe that's weird, but I could always look at them just because, like, I don't know. It's just fascinating to me because I don't have one and I don't want to get one for a long time. But anyway, just if I had to get one, check one out there at Little Treasury. So today's rodeo athlete is Haley Kinsel. I'm gonna actually I actually have her information right here. It's already typed in my computer. So Haley Kinsel, I'll actually share this page with you guys because I showed you guys last week WPRA.com, and I want to show you guys this again because it's like just super nice to be able to look at professional barrel racers. So this is Haley Kinsel, and she was first for 2018 World Standings, which is why I picked her because she's super good. And she wins a lot of things. Not everything, but like a lot of things. So her horse's name is DM Sissy Heyday, also known as Sister. And I want to actually show you guys her horse's pedigree because, what was it? DM Sissy Heyday. I typed it in earlier, so it's going to be up here. Pedigree. Anyway, we're going to click here. Pedigrees are super fun to look at because you can see where the horse came from. Like this is the horse's lineage. Like as far as we got 1948 up here, 1932. It goes way on back there. So it's always fun to check that out and really see who these horses are related to, you know, where they came from the previous quarter horses that they were bred to, or I mean that their ancestors were bred to. So DM Sissy Heyday, this is the sire, this is the dad, and this is the mom, also known as the dam. So the sire is always on top when you look at horse pedigrees, and then you continue, so sire, 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 sire. And then like if I go here, this is the dam from her dad, from her sire. And this is the dam from her dad's dad. And this is how you look at that. So if I go down here, this is the dam, and then this is the dam sire. Anyway, just so you guys can kind of see how that works. So like you can also click here, and then you can look at like a close-up view of like the dam's pedigree, just to kind of change it up a little bit. So that's the horse's pedigree, and it's super fun to look at these because I mean, I already told you guys, you can see who they're related to, but you can also see, like, if your horse is maybe related to her horse. So Tigger, his name is K.N. Fabulous Tiggerwood, but his dad's name, so maybe I can actually type him in here. K.N. Fab, I always spell fabulous wrong. Maybe I spelled it right, I don't know. Tiggerwood, I know that's a weird way to spell Tiggerwood. Oh, it's not coming up here. But that's how it's spelled for his name. Maybe it's just not up here. Huh. Well, maybe not every horse comes in. I'm going to try another horse. M-Y, this is my horse's name, Rascal, my old horse that I don't ride anymore because he has navicular. Nope, he's not in here either. So not all the horses come up here. I feel like they're more just like for well-known horses. And obviously because Haley Kinsel is like super good, her horse is in there because everybody wants to know like how her horse is bred because it's winning everything. Because, you know, if your horse is winning everything, people want a horse like your horse, so they want to know how your horse is bred so they can get a horse like your horse. Does that make sense? Sorta, kinda. All right, let me go back to these questions and see what y'all are saying. David Williams says, what time, Brad? What time, Brad? Oh, I don't think I told you guys this yet. I was going to tell you a little bit later. But anyway, so Craig is going to be on Brad's Tech webcast tomorrow. I mean, no, Friday at 9 p.m. I'm getting my stuff mixed up. So they're going to be making that video at 9 p.m. and the video is going to be up a little bit after that. So check that out. I believe maybe that's what yeah, so that's what they're talking about right here. I just wanted to let you guys know. It says 1 p.m. his time. So anyway, Brad Tech Webcast says he takes Bitcoin donations. Hey guys, just a heads up, if you want to learn how to get Bitcoin, get in contact with Craig and he'll help you with that. Also, before we keep going into this video, I'm going to show y'all my Bitcoin like scan thing. What I don't know what you want to call it. It's a Bitcoin donation scanner. Let's just call it a Bitcoin donation scanner, even though like it's probably called like a barcode, but it's not a barcode. I don't know. They got all these weird code things these days. It's all confusing. But anyway, let me show you guys. I sound like an old person. They got all this stuff these days, but I'm not old, all right? So check this out. Scan this on your phone and donate some Bitcoin to me because I will be holding on to that Bitcoin and checking out how the value changes and what to do because Bitcoin value goes up and down and I just want to hold on to my Bitcoin so I can get the most out of it. So definitely donate to my Bitcoin if you get a chance. So now we're going to go back to Haley Kinsel because I kind of got a little off track here. So like I was saying, her horse's bred name is, or papered name is DM Sissy Heyday. You can look at all the lineage. But I also wanted to say, my horse's sire, K.N. Fabulous Tiggerwood, his dad is a Frenchman horse, so he's related to this horse, which is like super duper cool to me because this horse is like winning everything, and it's like, wow, my horse is related to that horse, so it just makes me like, gives me a boost of confidence, even if it like maybe doesn't mean my horse is any better. It just makes me like feel cool. Arwag says, Sarah, there's a chain of stores called Rural King in Illinois and Indiana that always have small chicks and baby ducks plus horse supplies and equipment. A favorite. I mean, I'll have to check them out if I ever go to Illinois. It's been a while since I've been there, but I have been there. Sarah Easterday says you have to go to AQHA. Yes, you can go to AQHA to type in pedigree stuff too, but I just wanted to go to that website to see. The real CraigShipp of Frederick. Sarah, does your dog get along well with horses? Yes. Well, she tries to herd them. I guess you could call that getting along well. She's honestly kind of scared of them, but she just tries to make them think that she's big and bad. So she barks at him and herds him. But as soon as they turn around and walk towards her, she's like, oh, horse is coming towards me. Oh my gosh. Like, she freaks out. She's just, I mean, she doesn't hate him, but she tries to hurt him. That's her instinct. Lori Butler, when is Ben the movie star going to be in your show? Well, I'm sure another day. So, back to Haley Kinsel for the third time now. So Haley Kinsel is a barrel racer. She is qualified for the NFR 2 times, also known as the National Finals Rodeo. And each time she's done really well, and she's had an arena record there a few times, I believe. She's super good, and she has made $497,516 for career earnings, and that was in 2018. I'm sure that number has gone up more because it's 2019 now. And her 2018 earnings are $192,834. That's a mouthful just for 1 year. Like, that's all money just from barrel racing. Like, think about it. Like, if she has a regular job and she barrel races, she's making bank, all right? So this girl is super talented. She's really traveling around to all these rodeos. She's probably in her trailer like 90% of the time, like traveling. She probably doesn't even have time for a regular job because she's really just hitting the road, going to all the barrel races. Because to be a good barrel racer, you really got to go to all of them, and you got to place, you got to win. So she graduated in May 2017 from Texas A&M University with a degree in agriculture economics. So those are just some few little interesting facts about Haley Kinsel. So you can, keep in touch or keep up to date with everything she's doing on WPRA.com, like I showed you guys. So definitely check them out. David Williams says, NFR held in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, that's where it's held. And it's every December. It's like usually around somewhere between like December 1st and 10th is when it starts. And it's 10 days long. It's a rodeo that goes on 10 nights in a row. So it's a huge thing. All the really good people will get to go there. Or mostly all the really good people. So it's always super fun to watch. But it's not December now. We're in February, and we're in that weird part between winter and spring that I hate so much because, well, I don't like winter. And then it just like being in this part of the year just makes me mad because it's like one day it's hot out. Well, not hot, but it's like nice out. The next day it's snowing. And then we're having 60-mile-an-hour winds. And it really frustrates me because I just want it to be warm out so that I can ride my horses. But I can't control the weather, so. Yeah, everybody, click the like button and definitely subscribe to this channel. And click the, I think it's like there's a button that you guys need to click so that you can be notified every time we get on here. So you need to click the notification button thing. So click that button. So now I'm going to show you guys my run from Saturday night. So Saturday morning, my grandma and I and my friend Cameron, one of my best friends, Cameron, CraigShipp, it's the bell. Hit the bell so we can be notified, guys. We left around 10 in the morning to go down to Lexington, Virginia for a rodeo that started Saturday night at 7:30. So we got there in plenty of time to eat lunch, time to hang out, let the horse kind of get his legs back. I say get his legs back because a 3-hour haul in the trailer for horses can be a little hard on their legs. And I like to just make sure my horses are completely comfortable before I run them and make sure that they're feeling good and they're completely recuperated. So, yeah, we went to Lexington at the Lexington or Virginia Horse Park. It's not the Lexington Horse Park. It's the Virginia Horse Park. So that's where we went. And we ran in the rodeo, obviously. We were first to go out, which I hate being first, but it went pretty well for going first, I gotta say. So I'm going to show you guys the video. Let me just pull it up real quick, and then I'll screen share it with you guys. So, we're going to go to screen share. Screen share. Share. Okay. So now I'm going to click on my Facebook page. And, okay, let's start this bad boy over. So, here's my run. Going into the first barrel, turning the first barrel. And then we're going to go to the second barrel. And the second barrel. That was a really good turn. I was really happy with that turn. And this turn was also really good. He really wrapped the barrels. He like tapped that third barrel a little bit. It kind of scared me when I ran. But anyway, that's our run. It was really good. It was a huge stretch from the first to the second barrel compared to the last run I made. You might have noticed that, but I'll show you guys again. So this barrel, I'm going to kind of critique this like I did last time. This barrel was still a little wider than I would like to have it. It wasn't a bad turn, but going in there, we went in pretty tight, but then right about there, he went out a little too wide right there. And then from here to here, it was a huge stretch. And Tigger actually, like right here, you can kind of tell, he tried to like turn the barrel before we really got to it. He did like a little bit of a dive here. Like right there. He was like, oh, the barrel's all the way over there because it was such a stretch. And then after that barrel just really pushed onto the next one and turned those two barrels. So I really wouldn't change anything about this run other than our first barrel could have been a little better. And then, let me show you guys. Right here, whew, I would have changed that because I put my hand like way too far up there. So I just need to make sure I don't like throw my hand quite that far up next time. I was really just trying to lean forward, but Tigger decided he wanted to slam on the brakes a little bit, so it caused my hand to bob up and down. So anyway, that was my run from Lexington. David Williams says Lexington, Virginia is an awesome place, home of Washington and Lee and VMI. Yeah, it's a really cool place. And then I Like Watches says very cool. Thank you. The real CraigShipp of Frederick says beautiful. Thank you. And then Arwag says unbelievable, Sarah. Great riding. Thanks. And then Sarah Easterday says it looks like it's in fast motion. Well, it's not in fast motion. That's just how fast Tigger is. I think it's just a different quality on the iPhone than your phone, maybe. I don't know. But it's not in fast motion. Promise. So that run went pretty well. I was really proud of Tigger for that. It was a huge pen. We ran an 18.2, and usually the barrel races that we go to, you run like 14s and 15s, and they're like really good times. Well, an 18.2 was a pretty good time. A 17.5, I think, won it. So we did pretty good, and the times were really tight in there. We placed 12th out of 60 riders, and they paid out 6 places. So we did pretty good. I'm definitely happy with that. A lot happier with that than the last runs we've had because we've been knocking a lot of barrels, and we kept those barrels up. So I really had to push him past the second barrel, though. I was really worried he was not going to turn it right and that we were going to knock a barrel. But we kept the barrel up. So on to the next one, right? I Like Watches says, I don't even know if we have barrel racing here in the UK. I will have to look into it. Well, definitely check that out because barrel racing is super fun. So now we're going to talk about how to get into rodeo. So rodeo is a lot different than most sports, as you all probably know. So, it's one of those things that's like hard to get into because it's not like you can just join a team. Like if you want to play basketball, you just kind of get on the team and you're like, oh, I'm playing basketball. If you want to play softball, you get on a softball team. You know, if you want to bowl, you get on the bowling league. But, you know, rodeo, it's like, how do you just start rodeoing? It's not a team thing. I mean, it's a team. It's you and your horse, but it's not a regular team. There's not like 6 people on a team that you can talk to and figure stuff out together. No, it's you and your horse, and you don't have to be pre-committed to the games and all that because, well, you do have to be, but like not way ahead of time. It's a little different. So for rodeos, you call in. It's usually like not quite a week before the actual rodeo. And when I say call in, I mean you call a number on your phone and you say, "Hi, I'm Sarah Butler and I'd like to do barrel racing." So it's a certain time of day, or sometimes they're emails, but usually they're call-ins. And the people that you know, run the company, like run the rodeo company. So say it's the Lone Star Rodeo Company, which is the company that did the last rodeo that I was at. You're going to call them and they're going to literally have on their Facebook site, "Hey, everybody, call-ins for barrel racing are Saturday at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And you need to call probably the closest you can to 9 a.m. because sometimes when the faster you call, like the first person that they get to call gets like a better, like sometimes they like choose the order of like when you run. So basically I was first, like I ran first and we called in earlier. So sometimes that has to do with when you run. And other times it might not, but they could run out of places in the rodeo. So you need to call in like right then, because if you call at 9:10, they could be all filled up. It just depends on where you're running and what their rules are for that. And some rodeos, most rodeos have slack, which is either before or after the actual rodeo. They're just going to let a bunch of girls run barrels and all the times count as one. So basically, they don't want to run 60 barrel racers in the middle of a rodeo when they got a crowd watching, because that gets kind of old. Instead, they're going to put 10 or 15 of them in there and say, "Y'all are running in performance, everybody else is in slack, but you still have the same pot of money." That's kind of how it is, because they don't want people to get, bored of that. So David Williams says, "What other countries do rodeo besides Canada? Seems like a North American thing. Chile and Argentina." I don't know. I know Mexico does rodeo. I know Australia does rodeo. Brazil does rodeo. I don't really know about other countries, but I do know that Australia does rodeo because I met an Australian that was at high school rodeo finals, or national high school rodeo finals. She was like, "Hello, I'm from Australia." Can't really do an Australian accent, but it was really funny. And she was really nice. Like, they're really nice people from Australia. But they rodeo too, and you wouldn't like think that they would. Brad Tech Webcast says, "Sarah, would you like to be on my podcast?" Yes. I'll have to check that out. That would be cool. David Williams says, "Yes, of course. Good on ya, Sarah." Good accent. Thanks, guys. I tried. All right. I'm not the best Australian because I'm from Maryland, not Australia, but I tried. So anyway, back to getting into rodeo when you don't know what you're doing. That's kind of how it works when you want to call into a rodeo. But I recommend, if you're just starting out, so let's say you want to do team roping. So if you want to be really good at team roping and you want to start rodeoing competitively team roping, and you don't even have a horse, you need to get a horse. So to get a horse, you're going to have to call a bunch of people, and you maybe want to use Facebook, you can use websites, you can find a horse and you're going to call the owner and be like, "Hey, can I come check your horse out? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to ride your horse, blah, 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 blah." That's kind of how it works. So you're going to go to their farm and you're going to ride their horse, try it out, and be like, "Oh, I like this horse." Or you're going to be like, "Oh, I hate this horse." Or, "Oh, I just don't know. It's a little too expensive." By the way, do not go look at a horse knowing you cannot afford it. That is the most annoying thing ever. There's people that'll waste your time and they'll be like, "Hey, I really love your horse. I want to come ride her." Super interested. They'll come out there, ride her, they'll love her. And then we're like, "Oh, by the way, like she's just too much money. I just can't buy her." It's like, why, thank you for wasting 2 hours of my day to ride my horse that I'm trying to sell for the price that I posted her. It's really, 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 really annoying. Like, really annoying. Scott SJ says, "Sarah, hi and good evening. Do you know what the profession is called when someone tries to ride a bull as long as they can before falling off? Bullfighting, question mark." Bull riding is when people ride a bull, but they only need to stand for 8 seconds. And if you stand for 8 seconds, then you get a qualified ride, and then they'll judge that, how you rode the bull. But it's not really as, I mean, yeah, it's kind of as long as you can, but like if you could stay on for 20 seconds, like that wouldn't matter. The point is you got to be able to stay on for 8 seconds. David Williams says, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. The real CraigShipp of Frederick says, cash in hand or no rides. I mean, it's just like a courtesy thing, you know? Just because, like, it's kind of a business when you want to sell a horse, you know? It's not a, oh, you can come try my horse out, but, like, you don't have to be interested in buying her. Like, it's a thing where you look at a horse and you should be really interested before you ride it. Like, that should be your last resort before buying it. And then, you know, obviously, if it's not what you expected, then you're going to be like, oh, never mind, like, you kind of like lied about this on your post. Because a lot of people do that. They'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, this horse is like, runs 1D times, fastest horse I've ever rode, super dead broke, super fancy broke. And then you go out there and the horse starts bucking on you. And it doesn't even know the pattern. That's how people are. So, you know, but, you know, try to pick what you want, expect what you read, and then if that's not it, then, you know, obviously don't buy the horse. And don't buy the horse if you don't like it, but I'm just saying, like, try not to waste people's time. If you're trying to get into rodeo, you're trying to buy a horse, do not waste people's time. That's one thing. People in the rodeo world will be happy to help you with anything, but just don't waste their time. They don't want you, you know, that's like, hey, I don't know how to get here. Can you give me the directions? And then you're like, oh, you go out here, take 2 lefts, and then a right, and then you're there, and then you're like, oh, never mind, I don't want to go there. Like, okay, no. So just don't waste our times. You know, our time. We'll help you with whatever, but don't waste our time. Arwag says, explain something. How can you sell a horse that belongs to you? Don't you think of them as a pet, a part of the family, like your dog Annie? I think I would be attached to the horse. Yes. I mean, that's how it is pretty much. It's like selling a pet. But it depends, because like right now, like Rascal. Let's take Rascal, for instance. I've had Rascal since 2012. I've won a lot of barrel races on him. We've bonded a lot. Like, that horse is my best friend, you know. He's my buddy. All right? And he got navicular's disease. I'm not going to sell him just because I quit barrel racing him. I'm not going to sell him because he's my buddy. But I got a horse 2 years ago. We just didn't click. I had her for 2 years, and I was like, we're not clicking. So I sold her. Yes, I was attached to the horse, but I need to draw the line where I'm like, am I benefiting this horse or not? Because I don't want to have a horse that I'm just going to have sitting in my field and then their life is just getting wasted away. It's not fair to them because they deserve to have a chance to do something that they want to do. Because, you know, that was just kind of how it was with this horse. You know, she wasn't really doing what I wanted her to do. And I was like, well, I guess she's going to go to a new home because her and I aren't clicking. And I want her to be able to have somebody who will take her to her max, you know, to her maximum capacity so that she can do something that she likes to do. But the real CraigShipp of Frederick, do bull riders own their own bulls to practice on? Usually not, no. They usually will go to, like, their friend's house or a practice pen and be like, oh, let's practice riding bulls, and then they get on them and ride the bulls. But sometimes they do own their own bulls if they're lucky. So anyway, so that's kind of how you buy a horse, you know. You got to call the person, talk to them. And horses can be expensive. I mean, you can pay $500 for a horse. You can get a horse for free, and then there's people that pay $40,000 for a horse. But you know, it's all about how much money you have. You know, if you want to start rodeoing and you are like a millionaire, go out there, buy the most expensive horse you can find that runs barrels like this. Like, you don't have to do anything. And go to all the big rodeos and win everything. And beat all the people that work really hard that don't have all the money you have. Because you can do it. I mean, why not? But if you're like me, you're going to have to start from scratch. You're going to have to build your way up. And you're going to have to make it to the bigger rodeos. So here's how I recommend getting into rodeos. So, like I said, you could just, you know, if you're rich, you know, buy a $50,000 horse, and go out there and win everything. But most of us can't do that. So, if you want to start rodeoing, I told you how call-ins work. So that's how you got to call into a rodeo. If you want to get a horse, I told you how that works. So now you kind of need a saddle. You know, you can get online, buy a saddle that fits your horse. There's all sorts of ways to make sure that the saddle fits your horse. Excuse me. I'm not going to go over that. I have the sniffles. Because I just don't need to go into all that. Anyway. So, and Sarah Easterday says you still got to be able to ride. You can't buy that. Yes, you still have to be able to ride. But if you're a millionaire, you can go out there and have somebody teach you how to ride and pay them a bunch of money to be by your side 90% of the time helping you ride. All right? I mean, there's ways to do it. Not saying it's not just the horse. It's the rider and the horse. It's a team thing. But I'm just saying, like, if you have the money to do that, like, you could totally go out there. And if you're dedicated enough, you can win everything. But if you don't have all that money, so you're going to need your horse, saddle. You can buy all sorts of different barrel saddles or team roping saddles. Got to figure that out. And then after that, you're going to need somewhere to practice. So, you got to find an arena or you're going to make one. Or you can just practice out in a field like me for a lot of the time. But anyway, so that's how that works. You got to be able to practice whatever you're doing. And once you practice, you need to make sure that you can be consistent. So if I wanted to start team roping, I'm not just going to team rope in my back. Well, I don't have steer. So, like, I can't really team rope in my backyard anyway. But I'm not just going to practice on a dummy 5 days in a row and then go out to a rodeo that's, like, way far away and pay a lot of money for entry fees and enter that rodeo. You want to know why? Because I don't have a chance. I don't have a chance of winning that. I'm just going to be dead honest with you guys because this is how it works. I mean, you could have a chance if everybody misses or breaks the barrier or whatever, but it's really hard to go out there when you've literally been practicing something for 5 days and place, get a check. So I recommend that if you want to start an event, you practice for a long time, or you can just go to like a local event. So a local barrel race, a local team roping, something where you don't have to break your back by spending all this money, because people have like entry fees that are, a rodeo entry fee is like $50, $60, 70, 80, 100. Like, the price varies, but you can pay a lot of money for a rodeo entry fee. But why would you want to pay all that money when you can simply practice at home or go to a practice pen where the entry fee is $20 instead of $100? So if you want to get into rodeoing, you got to buy your horse. If you don't already have one, you got to buy your saddle. You got to practice really hard and go to all the local ones. Do not go super far away, because you're going to waste your fuel money. You're going to waste your entry fee money. Unless you're super rich. You go right ahead and do whatever you want. But I don't recommend doing that. But you and your horse got to work together as a team is the number one thing before you can go out and have a chance at winning stuff. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter how much your horse costs. It has to do with how well you ride and how well you and your horse work together. So that's my recommendation to everybody who wants to get into rodeoing, is make sure you and your horse work together as a team before you go out there and spend bucket loads of money when you don't have a chance to win. And ask us questions. Like I said, rodeo people are not scared to help you. Will help you out. People in rodeo are really nice. The real CraigShipp of Frederick. What's the most prestigious barrel race? If you win, it'll award you a Grand Psycho. I mean, there's like a lot. I don't know like what the most prestigious barrel race is, but there's a lot of them. Like I showed you guys, Haley Kinsel has gone to a lot of really big barrel races, and she's pulled like some major checks. So, I mean, you can win like thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars at some barrel races. Just depends. RWAG says, what's the annual cost annually to own a horse? Vet costs, boarding, food, etc. I've heard they're very expensive animals to own. Well, I'll tell you this. Horses are expensive. Cheapest thing you're going to buy is the horse. And like I said, horses can go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just kidding. I mean, they can, but it's not going to cost you $100,000 a year to keep your horse. But let's just say you don't have your own barn, so you're going to need to board your horse. Most places cost around $400 for boarding. That usually includes, I mean, it depends where you are. Like in Maryland, $400 to $500 a month for boarding, which includes your food, your hay, your water. If you want to have a horse that's not just field boarded, you may have to pay like $600 a month, which means your horse can come in the stalls and all that stuff, and they'll have their stalls picked out. It all depends on what you want. $400 a month times 12. Y'all do the math. That's how much board is a year. Vet costs, well, they can be pretty expensive. You know, the vet has to come out about twice a year, spring and fall typically. And then if your horse gets injured, you got a big old vet bill for $1,000 because they busted something open or did something, because horses are dumb like that. You got to pay that. I mean, getting shots done is pretty expensive for that. I mean, they're very expensive animals. If you really wanted to know the exact number, the exact cost, you'd probably have to look that up for your specific needs, because, I mean, you can make things more expensive than they need to be. Like, you can buy the most expensive feed. You can, you know, pay for the most expensive boarding place. But I'm one of those people, I'm just pretty cheap, and I like to buy everything cheap unless I need to buy the more expensive things. Like, my horses, you know, for my saddle, like, I don't want to buy a cheap saddle because that'll break. But, like, stuff like, I'm trying to think, like my bell boots. I mean, I have a good brand for bell boots. I think I use Classic Equine, but like, if I'm going to a bell boot store and there's like a tack store, and they got a bunch of bell boots on the ground, I'm gonna look at them and I'm gonna be like, which one's the cheapest pair? Because you don't need like top quality bell boots, as long as they stay on your horse and they do their job, and hopefully they're not super ugly. By the way, bell boots are what go on your horse's feet to make sure that they don't clip off their shoes with their back feet. Scott SJ, Sarah, how long does it take train a horse to be rodeo ready? I would imagine years. Well, I mean, depends on the time you put in. I mean, you can have a horse, like, I mean, it just depends on the time you put in and your horse. That's a broad answer. Like, I can't tell you that, because you can have a horse that takes years for them to get together, and you can have a horse that you can run a pretty solid pattern in 30 days if you work at it. But then again, like, that doesn't include just regular training. You know, you need your horse to be broke before you can rodeo it, before you can start training the rodeo. Brad says, Sarah, are you an Apple fan? Yes, I am. I like Apple stuff. Brad says, Sarah, do you ride motorbikes? I've ridden dirt bikes a few times, if that's what you mean by that. I don't ride them all the time, but I think they're really fun to ride. I just don't really have the money to put into that. You know, I got horses, so like, I don't want to go spend $2,000 on a dirt bike, because like, I don't have that money. But one day when I'm rich, if that ever happens, I'll have a fast dirt bike. Let's just say that. RWAG says the cost of pickup trucks and horse trailer would be very expensive. Seems like an expensive hobby. It's expensive. You need a good job. We'll end it at that, guys. Barrel racing is expensive, all right? So thank you guys for watching tonight's show. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, or whatever time it is where you are. Good rest of your day. Tune in next Monday again at 10 p.m. Thank you. Goodbye.